All right, what's up? What's happening? What's up, crypto junkies? Jay here, and welcome. A bit sick. I got a bit of a flu, so I hope you don't mind. Pushed it a little bit too hard this last week, apparently. Hold on, I'm gonna drop a link in the Discord. On for a quick 15-minute analysis. All right, cool. So welcome. Another day. Wow, 5,300 members in the Discord now. 5,300 members. Another day, and we are once again talking Bitcoin, gold, and silver. 15-minute analysis. You know the deal if you've been here before. The point is just to quickly talk about the basics of what's going on in the charts. And all the relevant links are underneath in the description. So you can join our Discord, which is free. You can sign up for a membership. You can buy some stuff for us. You can click through some affiliate links and support us in that way. Whatever it is, whatever your deal is, whatever floats your boat, it's all good. Or if you don't want to support us at all, that's okay. All I'd ask is that if you could quickly click the like button if you dig the info, and if you want to stick around, then just subscribe and hit the bell notification. All right, so let's dive right into it. Let me just sort this. Let me pull up the live dashboard over here, actually. All right, there we go. All right, so let's start with BTC. There's some stuff I want to show you on smaller time frames, but the big thing that I wanted to talk about today on the higher time frame is a channel and a groove that we're in. So before we start that, it's the weekend. So if you're newer to BTC and crypto and you don't know the natural cycles, the first natural cycle you need to know about is that on the weekend there's usually a dip. Even though the markets are open all the time, and this isn't the stock market, this isn't any kind of stock exchange, on the weekends it just naturally dips. On the weekends, FUD matters more, especially in a market cap that's below 300 billion. I've mentioned that before. 300 billion really seems to be a sweet spot for crypto. So when we're in these 250s, 260, 270 range, it's like every piece of news is so much more significant. So we're also at this ceiling point. We've broken through, like you see this red line right here that my mouse is following, and I've brought this up yesterday on the analysis and the day before, but we are now 4 days broken through this line. And depending on how you chart this, here's another way to plot that line, and another trend line not going back as far. So this one goes back to May. This one goes back to the beginning of May. So we're about the middle of the month here separating us between these two. And this one tells us that we're just about to break through this. We haven't yet. We've touched on it, and we're just about to break through. And so what's significant about these lines, this trend line here, is that historically at these points, there's been a slew of bad news or FUD hit. So what you really want to be paying attention to this weekend is being on the lookout for if we can break through. We've already broken through this one. If we can break through this line, which on smaller time frames, this, and well, you can see it here too. This is our resistance line, 6754, which we've touched and we've attempted to break, but we haven't. So it's acted as resistance. So we need to break over this. We need to break through this number, this line, and we need to successfully close on the daily above that. Daily time frame is such a good indicator to tell you what's going on and what's coming up, really. So what you see on the daily time frame is so much more significant, and I talk about that all the time. So we need to close above this line. It's still the same game. It's the same thing I've talked about over the last like 3 days now. We need to get over this and close above it on the daily, okay? So what you want to look for this weekend, especially since we're once again on the top of this line, about to break through, is you want to look for FUD. But right now, as I'm shooting this, I look at a couple different Telegram streams, and so far we've got just great news. Bitmain received 12 billion of investments following a recent series of Series B funding round. So that's great news. We have more people and agencies getting into this international consortium of people and agencies to help govern and direct crypto. We have Tom Lee once again talking about how he thinks we'll see 25,000 on Bitcoin for the year. Cointelegraph released a video talking about how, excuse me, building the case for how we might get to 1 million, Bitcoin being $1 million. Swiss Stock Exchange, SIX, announces their digital asset ecosystem platform to be launched mid-2019. So far, we're not seeing the negative FUD. We're not seeing negative news, right? But just keep your eye on this weekend and these next couple days because they will be crucial. They'll be crucial because this is normally when the FUD starts hitting and we see price action, reacting to that. And it's also the weekend. So, but the play is still the same, okay? This significant line that you see here, 6745-ish area, is the line that we need to get above and close on the daily. So, overall, there's still, most traders are not getting into trades right now. They're not entering trades, whether it's shorts or longs, they're not doing anything right now. They're just watching because they know we're at a really crucial point over these last couple days, okay? Now, I will say this. If we look at the bigger trend line here, I'm really sorry about my voice. I hope that's not annoying in your ear. I'm just fighting something here, I guess. Okay, so if we look at the bigger line here, it's this one right here, which this one's been going on since January. So this bigger trend line since January is essentially giving us our ceiling. So, and there's going to be, I'm going to bring in the futures contracts and how that plays into all this in just a minute too, by the way. So essentially what this is telling us, and I hate to put these limitations, but we can't break above this line. It would take us a lot to break above this line at this point. So what you can expect and some basics to operate off of is that we won't bounce below this line right here, right? Which brings us all the way down into 5,000 territory. And with our current habit or pattern, no, excuse me. Let me just zoom this out, make sure I'm correct here. Oh, so it's this blue line. So we won't, chances are we won't bounce below this blue line, which is taking us all the way into the low 4,000s. No, 47.89. And chances are we won't bounce above this, which is 83.88. So use this channel, these channels that we're on, as indication of how far it can go up and down. So here's the bottom, which is this blue line here. And here's the top. All right, so this is what I kind of operate off of, and this is a tighter top. So these lines and these patterns, you just follow them back in time. And so this one's been going since the beginning of May. We've got a longer blue line here, which goes way lower and gives us that $3,000 territory, which Tone Vase talks about and several others talk about as well. So we might see and go all the way up to the ceiling here again, which is this 83, 8400 area. And we might further break down. Whoops. There's also a chance that we might break down all the way down into this 3,000 to 2,800 range right in here. Okay, both are still on the table. There's not a clear indication of where we're going just yet. So today, right now, in the trenches, what's most important over this next 24 to 48 hours is the same story, guys. We need to successfully close above this big resistance point. Like, look at how many times we're touching on this as resistance now throughout the last couple months. We need to close above this line on the daily and show strength, okay? That's it. Now, things get ultimately more interesting when you bring in the CBOE and CME contracts into this, right? Which there's a small group of crypto enthusiasts who think that there's this mass manipulation going on and that it has to do with futures contracts. Now, there are some some interesting correlations, and I'll leave a lot of this up to you if you want to go research this. Not difficult to go research this, but I'll leave it up to you. So the CBOE date is always first, and that is this first line. And the CME is the second line, but I've boxed it as the zone of when future contracts are expiring. Now, here's the deal. Why do you only have going back to April if they started December? So they started, CBOE started and launched on the 10th. And CME started on the 18th. I thought it was the 17th, but apparently the official date is the 18th, right? So I'm in Singapore time zone, so it might have just been, you know, I missed the dates based on time zone, but those are the official dates. So we launched on December 10th and 18th. Now, how come I don't have January, February, March data? Well, it's because I couldn't find it. It's extremely hard to find it. Believe me, I searched for about an hour. All I could find was CME dates. So I have a CME date of January 26th. I have a CME date of February 23rd and March 29th. Then it goes into the regular flow. And I even have all the way up to September. I didn't put it on here. I have all the way up to September dates that I've gotten for the future. Get some water in me. All right, so the first line is CBOE, second line CME. So CBOE, CME, same. All right, so we've got a date of May 16th and then May 25th. And then we have June 13th and June 28th, July 18th through the 25th. And so this tells you that, and it's not true back here, right? So the theory is not 100% soundproof. So again, don't let bias swing you and all of a sudden, like, tomorrow you're shouting from the rooftops that there's market manipulation and it's all based on future contracts. You know, there is a track record and proof and evidence of a 25-year price suppression for gold and silver because of future market, because of the futures market. So I do believe that this is playing a role, though. How significant this variable is, I don't know. I really don't. But I will say that I'm tracking this data more now than ever. I'm tracking the expiration dates more now than ever. And so, again, if we were to play around with, okay, we're coming up on this, we've got 10 days. So in this next 10 days, what can happen? Well, what we can expect in the next 10 days is on a bullish scenario, in case the maximum we'll get to is this line here. Okay, so I'm saying the maximum we can get to is 8,300. And the lowest we can go is dipping all the way down into some of these blue lines. I don't want to pull them up. Some of the blue lines, right? But regardless, we should expect, based off the last 1, 2, 3 months, is that the futures dates will affect. They will affect, mark my words, the price action. How? I don't know, because even if you look here, well, these dates didn't negatively affect the price, okay? So there's definitely holes in this theory, but the overall theory that I have is that the future dates do affect price action, yes. So we've got 10 days of free reign, essentially. We've got 10 days of free reign for the bulls to just take this over, or the bears to just take this over and run with it. But I think what the more likely case would be bulls get more free run with this before future contracts start coming up on expiration, okay? And the reason why this is significant is because a future contract is a future bet on where the price will be. And based on the spread is how much you make or how much you lose. So a bunch of guys shorting Bitcoin, hundreds of thousands of contracts shorting Bitcoin, they're going to do everything they can to drive the price down. Does that include, and again, like, let's just think about this logically. Could that possibly include paying off somebody at Cointelegraph or somebody at Brave New Coin or somebody at fill in the blank blog to post something negative? Of course it could. You know what I mean? Like, let's not weigh that out and put that way out in conspiracy theory land, because it's really not. You know what I mean? People collude all the time. There's still collusion in the stock market, and it's been around for 200 fucking years. You know what I mean? Like, so again, let's just think logically. Could it possibly happen? Yeah. And if it's possible, then on probably some degree, on some level, it's probably probable and happening, okay? So these are the dates that have really played a significant role on price action. And so we see here, it's these two dates, it obviously negatively affected price and price came down. But on the dates leading up, we see negative price action happening. That was not the case here at all, okay? So we could correlate and say it might have been the case here, might have been the case here. And so some people are saying, okay, well, it'll be the case here, and they're pulling down the price further to hit this zone for their shorts, okay? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. But those are the dates. That is what you can expect to see movement happening, coming up to this date and through these dates from here to here. We will see a lot of price action, okay? Something else I want to bring to your attention. Most people don't use this, but if you just go to BTC USD, and it usually drops you off at this ideas page, right? But if you just click over to, wait, where'd it go? No, I just lost it, sorry. It's technicals. Let's just hit the back button. All right, oh no, it's markets. Okay, there it is. So if we go to markets and in technicals, what you see is they started to build out their own internal tools the last couple months. When did they launch this? I think it was February or March I first talked about this. But pretty cool little tool just to look at and see, based on all the oscillators, moving averages, and the overall summary, it gives you an indicator. So the 1 week hasn't changed, but the 1 month is all showing buy except oscillation, okay? So moving averages and the overall summary is showing to buy. Just something cool to look at, and it tells you exactly what it's taking into consideration at the tool itself. So these are the oscillators it's looking at, and it's weighing out its value, moving averages, and it's also looking at pivots. Pretty cool, right? So most people just aren't using this yet, but feel free to. It's under markets, and then go to technicals. So here it is, and it gives you all the different time breakdowns. So yeah, you can use that to your advantage. So that explains Bitcoin overall. Let me show you this. On the 1 hour, I wanted to just quickly show you this. Okay, so we've got a small, what we had was we had a small wedge action happening here. So here's our baseline, this red line here, if you can see it. Here's this wedge here. So the wedge coming down. And what do you know? We broke above it. So on a smaller time frame, that's good. That's a good indicator. Did I want to show you anything on the 4 hour? No, 4 hour, again, reflecting the same thing. But we're starting to see, bulls take over, small accumulation happening, sideways action, bull taking over, sideways action, bull taking over. But again, we still haven't been able to break this little zone here, okay, which is very, very significant at this point. Let's jump into gold. Let's change topic here. Gold is still trucking along. We've talked about this each day, but RSI I use as like my only indication on gold. Moving averages, great. But I'm also too, to reflect my game plan and cross-reference my game plan, is I just want to accumulate gold at the best possible price as time rolls on, right? So this is an easy way to tell. I have a whole video on the, I call it the simple RSI strategy, which essentially you're accumulating and buying when it's extremely oversold, and you're selling when it's 50, 60, 70, 80, or extremely overbought, and that's it. So each time it dips down here on the daily, oh, okay, we buy some, and then each time it comes up here and peaks above, okay, we sell some. With gold, though, however, I'm not selling, I'm just buying. So all I do is literally look for days like this, and I buy. And what do you know? It just so happens to correlate with extremely great price days. So what we've got happening here, bullish engulf on this red day, and we're starting to slowly truck along up. Price action on gold and silver is way slower, way slower than crypto. Volatility, the size of the candles, price action, and price spread on the intradays are all much lower than in crypto. So yeah, we're chucking along, bounced out of the pocket. Silver follows gold, much like ETH follows follows Bitcoin. And so here we bounced out of it, but we're starting to see again a small little price breakdown, but it's still not in oversold territory yet. So even with silver, like I wouldn't have bought down here actually, because it was only 30. Great time to buy. So if we go back and paper trade this a little bit, great time to buy this day. And what do you know? Correlates to great price days. Okay, so you could have been selling off here, here, and here. And just look at the spread. Like, look at the price action spread on this in terms of what you would make, the range. Let's grab this one here. You know, we're north of 10%, 10, 12%. So, yeah, but silver's struggling way more than gold. But, yeah, gold and silver overall, I feel, are being suppressed down. We have hyperinflation at an all-time high. So fundamentally, the market is telling us that gold and silver, there's all the writing on the wall. Gold and silver should be going through the roof. But you have big banks, JP Morgan, Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, all the syndicate. You have them actively pushing down the price on gold and silver. And there's so much paper leverage on gold and silver now that they can do it quite easily with futures markets and ETFs and all the other bullshit that exists that essentially allows you to buy gold and silver on paper, but would never be able to fulfill that. And the banks actually offer that. Mark my words, okay? And don't get it twisted. Buy real gold and silver if you want it. Don't fucking buy ETFs and IOUs and maybe possibly in the future, but if 1,000 people got in line and all wanted their shit today, you wouldn't get it. And it's the same thing with fiat. That's why you'll never see me investing my money and holding my money in fiat, because it's just stupid. Like, if 1,000 people showed up at a bank branch right now and all wanted their full their full bank account liquidated, they wouldn't be able to provide that. And they even say that on that little sign that you see at every bank teller that talks about how they'll protect you up to X amount of dollars. There's a clause in that basically says they don't have to. So they put that in your face to make you feel protected, but essentially they're not going to give you shit if enough people got in line. And then they would just turn to the Fed and say, oops, we fucked up. We robbed Peter to pay Paul. We didn't keep enough assets in place, and we can't pay our bills now. Like, you and I can't go to the bank and just say, oops, I fucked up with my money and I didn't manage it well enough. Can you cover me? They would say, get out of here. They'd laugh you out of the bank. You know, so I think the hypocrisy in money is what bothers me, you know, because we're all taught and guilted to, like, manage your money and you're a piece of shit if you don't, and, you know, blah, 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 but they're doing the same thing. So anyway, buy physical gold and silver if you're going to get into it at all. And that's it. Okay, so some people have been asking me lately, hey, can you start charting out other coins? I don't know if I want to, honestly, because I don't day trade really anymore, and I don't really care what's going on with micro cap coins. So I've got some, you know, I get involved in ICO coins. Some of those have worked out great. Some have been massive flop and lost money on, but that's the game. Microcap coins, I will tell you to absolutely pay attention to fib extensions. Fib extensions are going to be your best friend because there's so much bot trading happening on the smaller coins that your entry and exit points, you will notice that that coin will behave almost perfectly to the 382 line, to the 236, to the golden pocket at 618. It will 100% behave that way. So pay attention to your Fibonacci points and lines on your smaller cap coins, and that will absolutely be your guide to when do I get in, when do I get out, and pulling profit, okay? That's it for today. Thank you so much for jumping on with me. Quick 15, 20 minutes, give you an idea what's going on with the markets. If you like what we're doing, just go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click the like button. It helps us, you know, get this video in front of more people with the YouTube algos, and hit the bell notification, and that way you should get an alert when we go live, and you can jump on with us and have some fun. So Tristan, to answer your question, do I think that it will go below 6,000 again? Yes, I do. All right, my friends, we will be back another day, another time to talk more analysis.